Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a declutter video. It's going to be a little different from my declutter series in the past where I went through each category of makeup, laid everything out, and went one by one and talked about whether I was going to get rid of each product or not. This time my collection is a lot smaller, so I feel like that whole process isn't really necessary. This time I've just kind of gone through and picked out the products that are either too old and need to be tossed, or things that I just don't use anymore and that I want to pass on to someone else. I have a few lipsticks, a couple other random makeup products, a skincare product, and then a bunch of brushes that I just don't use for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and get into it. My coffee is really cold. I feel like I never get through an entire coffee before it gets cold. So let's start with the makeup since that's kind of the most interesting. So I have, let's see, I actually have 4 lipsticks that I'm getting rid of. It's just time. Most of these are just really old. 2 of these I got from Dollar Tree. These are the Wet n Wild, I think it's called their Silk Finish lipsticks. It's their cheapest line of lipsticks. They're like 99 cents a piece. I bought these, like I said, from Dollar Tree, so they were probably kind of old already, plus they're in the old packaging, so that I kind of knew that they were probably already pretty old once I bought them. One of them is in this crazy shade called Cashmere, and this is actually like a metallic brown, which I probably would never wear out of the house anyway, but I have worn it like around the house and it's kind of fun. But for one thing, this shade is ridiculous. I'm not going to wear it. I kind of just bought it to like experiment with a wild shade. But it's also kind of got a smell to it. It just smells kind of off at this point, so I think it's just time to get rid of this one. And then the other one is a shade that I really liked called Dark Wine, and it's just a deep kind of vampy berry red. Great for the holidays. I wore it a lot last year, but again, the smell is just kind of off. These I noticed start to kind of smell like crayon when they get old, like really strong and gross, and they taste kind of funny too if you accidentally like taste a little bit. It's just not good. And the other thing about this formula is it's kind of slippery and it really does feather outside the lip line, even if you do wear a lip liner underneath, so it's just not worth it to me. I have other deep lipsticks that I can wear that don't feather, so those are the reasons why I'm getting rid of that one. And then this is another one from Wet n Wild. This is their $1.99 line. I think it's their Megalast lipstick in the shade 902C Bare It All. This is a really nice shade. I love this shade. One problem with this is that the, the lipstick itself just kind of falls out. It's a really dry formula, which is fine. I can work with it, and it's a nice formula, but because it's so dry, it just falls out. So that's one problem. The other problem is I've had it for a while, and again, it just smells off. I don't want to wear it on my lips anymore because I just feel like it's old, it's gross. I may repurchase it in the future because I really do like this lipstick. And in my opinion, the $1.99 lipsticks from Wet n Wild are a lot better than their 99-cent ones. They have better staying power, and they're just all around better for that extra $1. So I do really like this, but it's just time to get rid of it. And then the next lipstick, and the last lipstick, is this e.l.f. Moisturizing lipstick in Ravishing Rose. I don't even know how long I have had this, but I'm pretty sure I bought it at least 4 years ago. So it might be one of the oldest products in my collection. It's a really nice lipstick, but look at this. Can you see that? It is like leaning over, and because it's kind of like a really soft formula, so when I apply it to my lips, the lipstick itself like wiggles around. It's really messy. It's hard to work with because of that. I do really like this shade, and I may repurchase it in the future, but this particular lipstick has just seen better days. A couple of other makeup items that I'm getting rid of, not because they're old, but just because I don't really use them. One of them is this e.l.f. Brightening Eye Color. It's an eyeshadow quad in the shade Luxe. Really pretty selection of colors. I used to really like this. but I pulled it out again recently and used it, and I realized that this just has no pigmentation whatsoever. It was like a $1 quad, so I mean, what do you expect? But I used to really like this, and I'm trying to figure out why, because when I used it this last time, there was like, it just like wasn't showing up, which I feel like, I mean, I have better eyeshadows, I don't need to waste my time with this. It's not a horrible product. I mean, if you like just like a really subtle look, it's not bad. I don't even know if this is still available though, it might be discontinued, but anyway, that's why I'm getting rid of that. And the last thing is this e.l.f. Shimmering Facial Whip in Pink Lemonade. This is a really pretty product, and it's almost brand new. I've only used it like once, and I've only had it for a few months, but it's just a little squeezy tube, and it's kind of a cream blush slash highlight, maybe blush topper. I'm not really sure. I guess I would kind of use it as a cream blush, but it has a very pearlescent finish. I would probably get more use out of this if it was in a lighter, like highlight type of shade, but since it's pink, I don't really know how to use it because it's almost too shimmery for me to want to use it alone as a blush. And I'm not really a huge fan of cream products anyway, so I figure I could pass this on to someone else who might enjoy it more than I do. Okay, another product, this is a skincare product. It is time to get rid of this. This is the Freeman Avocado and Oatmeal Clay Mask. This was in a Project Pan like a year ago. I used it a lot during that Project Pan, but once that ended, I have not touched it since. This mask burns my eyes. I don't put it like close to my eyes, but it burns my eyes when I put it on my face. And so I feel like if it's burning my eyes, it's probably not doing great things for my skin. It was a really inexpensive mask. I've had it for a very long time. It's really old. I would hesitate to put this on my face now. Plus, Freeman is no longer cruelty-free, so I don't purchase from this brand anymore anyway, and I wouldn't recommend this mask. I just found it to be very irritating. So, getting rid of that. And then the last few things are some brushes. These are perfectly good brushes. There's nothing wrong with them. In fact, most of these I've only had for a short time. I just don't use them, so I'm going to try to give them to like my sister or a friend or my mom or someone. This is the Ecotools Mattifying Finish brush, and I guess it's meant to be like a powder brush, but the bristles are, it's kind of like a duo fiber type of brush, and the bristles are very like far apart. It's just, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't really pick up a lot of product, and it's just not my preferred brush for applying powder. I have brushes that I like better. I really like the e.l.f. complexion brush, and I really like the Wet n Wild powder brush. This one I just don't really use. Maybe someone else could find a purpose for it, but I just don't need it. It's an extra brush that I would have to wash, and I don't need that in my life, so let's get rid of that. This is the Ecotools Correcting Concealer Brush. This brush is weird. I just don't like it for concealer. I mainly use concealer underneath my eyes, and it kind of comes to like a point almost, and I kind of prefer something a little bit more flat or just not quite as pointy at the top. It's also, again, the bristles just aren't very dense, so it doesn't do a great job of blending in concealer for me. Maybe it would be better for concealing blemishes, but I don't really do that a whole lot anyway. And I have other concealer brushes I like better, so this one is going to go to a new home. Another Ecotools brush is their angled face brush. I think this came in like a kit. I think it was called like their day to night kit or something like that. This just isn't quite dense and large enough for contouring, which is what I would use an angled brush like this for. I like the, the Wet n Wild contour brush better. The Wet n Wild brush is a little bit bigger, a little more dense and fluffy, and it just picks up more product. This one just doesn't pick up enough product, and then it doesn't do a great job blending the product out for me, so I'm going to go ahead and pass this one on. Last Ecotools brush, this is their Detailed Lip Liner brush. I don't use lip brushes, so I don't have a use for this one. This one is from Real Techniques. It's their brow brush. It's not that this is a bad brush, I just prefer brow brushes that are slightly thinner. This one kind of has a thick amount of bristles. It's a little bit wider than I like. I like something a little more precise. I've actually been using, again, from Wet n Wild, I think this is called their angled liner brush, and it's meant for like eyeliner, but I really like it for brows because it's so thin and so precise. So that's the one I prefer. This one is just not one that I would use. And then last but not least, this is a brush from Terre. It came with like a set of 4 loose powder eyeshadows. I like the eyeshadows a lot. This is just kind of a flat brush that I'd probably use to pack shadow all over the lid, but the problem with it is it doesn't have enough taper to it along the flat edge, and so it just doesn't pick up enough product. I mean, when I use this, I have to keep building and building and building because it doesn't pick up enough product in the first place, so it's kind of a hassle to use. I just don't have a place for it, and I don't really like it. I have better brushes for that purpose. So anyway, those are all of the items that I have decided to declutter from my collection. It feels good to do this every few months because we end up collecting products that have either gotten too old or that we just aren't using, and maybe someone else in our life could get more use out of it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!